I do not accept. Got it. There's one thing left. Great, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone. It's finally here, our winter 2022 launch day. Jazz hands, spirit fingers, get excited, yeah. This event obviously is being recorded, so if you're joining us live now or watching this later, we welcome you. Today we'll be showcasing our final project from our DevPoint Labs part-time web development course. You can find this project and our students on DevPoint Labs YouTube channel and also our website at devpointlabs.com/launch. We will first hear from the group's team lead, and then we will showcase the project. The project that we'll be showcasing today is Elephant Toy Store. Afterwards, we'll hear from the instructor, Henry. He is our lead instructor of the part-time web development course. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, the project that we'll be showcasing today is Elephant Toy Store. The developers for this project are Ashlyn Knight, Brandon Ferguson, Daylan Merritt, Hannah Holt, and Luis Topete. We will now hear from their team lead, Jordan Holm, and afterwards we will see their project videos. Go ahead, Jordan.
Cool. Starting off, I'd like to say congrats to all you guys of the winter cohort. Coming into a DPL with little to no experience with code can be very intimidating at first, but you all did an amazing job putting everything you learned from this cohort to use, and you should be very proud of that. To introduce this project, the students made a toy store application called Elephant. This website has many features, including a newsletter, reviews, and a wish list. They've also implemented user authentication, so users can use their current and previous orders or view their current and previous orders. On top of that, there is also an admin functionality to add more items to the store and process orders. Along with some neat features, the students have also styled this site beautifully, bringing the joy a toy store should. They've come a long way since starting this cohort, and they should be very proud of where they are now.
Can you all hear this?
Hello, welcome to our launch day presentation. My name is Brandon, and we're excited to share the Elephant Toy Store with you guys today. So up in the top right, we have a register option for new users, or we can go ahead and log in for existing users. We have a test account that we're going to be using today to walk through this launch video. So we'll go ahead and sign into that test account. Here on the home page, this view button will take us to our toys featured item. Will take us to that specific item. And then at the bottom here, you can subscribe to a newsletter that we can release on our toy page. So we're gonna go ahead and create an account here and subscribe to now, going through the rest of the pages, we're going to have Ashlyn cover the toys and then meet the team.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so on our homepage, we have our featured item, which every time you come back to the page, it will be a... Then if you go up here and you click on toys, we have a whole list of our categories as well as brands. Then on this page, we have a filter where you can filter out the different brands, the different categories, as well as see all of the toys that we have. Then on our page here, we have everyone that worked on the project. You're able to see how they contributed, their LinkedIn, GitHub, all of that. And next we have Luis, who will be going over our wish list.
All right, so let's head on over to our wish list over here. And as you can see, we already have 3 here, party not party, and is a party. Let's add 1 more for might party. And maybe we'll just add 2 items in here. So as you can see, these already have items in there. You can scroll down, we can view the toys, and from here, might as well add this toy to our My Party. So if we go back in our My Party, there it is, Harry Pitts. We can change the name as well to Definitely Party. And you know what, I spelled that wrong, so we might as well just delete it. And that would be it for the wish list. And I'll pass it over to Dylan with the reviews.
Perfect, thank you. So every toy that we have on our website has different reviews for them. So Rocky Mountain has a review that was created by our test account. We gave it 4 stars and the comment says good. Because we are logged into test 1, we have the ability to edit and delete the item. I'll just show you edit. So we give a rating of 3, and then we just say bad. And then click submit, and that changes to 3 and bad. You can also delete your review if needed. I'll just create another one just to show. And you can delete your review. Every user also has all the orders that they need. So currently we have order 8, which has not been shipped. I'll show how that works a little bit later, but we have 3. It's also not shipped. And then you can view the items that are currently in the order. So here we have Rocky Mountain, Harry Pitts, and Howie Doohan. And if you don't want this order, you can delete it. You can also edit the order and order number as well. Just delete it here. Second, let me log out of test 1. And let me go into test 2. Let me go back to Rocky Mountain. And I do not have the ability to edit or delete the other users' reviews. Let's go into our admin account now that has more permissions. Here we can view all the orders for every user, and then once we process the order, we can see the items. So once we process what we need, we can just click processed, and then it will tell the user that they that their order has been processed, and it gives them an estimated shipping date. As for reviews as well, we have the ability to edit reviews and delete as well in case there's like bad reviews. And then that is it for orders and reviews.
Perfect. And then the final permission that our admin has is just to see the newsletter mailing list from earlier. You can see we have a couple duplicates for our favorite Darth Vader. We can go ahead and just delete the extra duplicates. And this is where an admin could access the newsletter mailing list to go ahead and send those out. But those are all the functions for the Elephant Toy Store that we have here on launch day for you. Thanks again for watching our video, and we'll see you on Thursday.
I don't know how to stop.
Our My Party, there it is, Harry Pitts.
Register and make a new account, or we can go ahead and sign in. I'm sorry, it didn't work.
I can't, I'm sorry.
Why did it not work? I clicked the button.
Okay, we'll just keep going.
Okay. So, all right. We're just gonna edit all this out at the beginning, right? Okay. Here we go.
Fantastic, everyone. That was a great project. And like I said, that is the first time I think someone's put in a blooper reel, so great addition. We had us all laughing. And now we'll hear from Henry Doan. He's the lead instructor of DevPoint Lab's part-time web development course. After Henry, we'll have some closing remarks from Will, and then I will send you off with the celebratory toast. Take it away, Henry.
Thank you, Mark. But yeah, congratulations, everyone. You finally made it through, and it's been a really crazy few months. And definitely winter cohort is actually one of the harder cohorts just because there's a huge break in the middle of it, but that didn't phase you all at all, which is amazing. So you actually got back from the break and came back with a bunch of really good starts into your personal portfolio apps too. So that was very impressive. And we also worked on a lot of projects, and we implemented all of those different features in different ways, and you all been awesome with a awesome audience. And I know that you're probably sick and tired of me saying models are singular, controllers are plural, but it's okay, I'll stick to you for sure. But yeah, so next steps is to just basically keep doing what you are doing. So continue to code, continue to strive to learn, even though that we won't be here with you, we'll always be your background cheerleaders, no matter what. And we're always here to support you and help you in any ways. And then we are able to kind of guide you in the right path from there. So definitely take a look at different pathways, different things that you can do with your code, and continue on coding. Just don't ever stop. When you do stop, it does take a while to get back on. It's kind of like riding a bike. So if you ride a bike every day, it kind of comes second nature. But if you haven't ridden a bike within like months or years or even 10 years and try to get back on a bike, you'll eventually fall back and forth. So try to keep that in mind when you're kind of coding and doing things on a daily basis. And it doesn't have to be full-fledged projects every now and again. You can also do like certain brain teasers or certain small problems just to kind of help your gears turn when you're trying to work through some of these items here. And then the other thing is that with the job market is always up and down, just always be determined with what you are doing as well. And rejection isn't a bad thing in this industry. It's actually a huge learning opportunity as well. So I would definitely ask the interviewer what you can do to improve, and also what else you can do to kind of help you improve on your next interview. So always try to get feedback in your interviews as well. And regardless of if you get it or not, it will still be a good interview process. Don't be down. It takes a while for anyone to get a job. For my current daytime job, it took me around 114 applications. And most of those are going to be people ghosting me, rejections, and other times they get back to you in like a month or two just to tell you no too. So definitely don't let that deter you. Just have that be like more of a learning process and motivation for that as well. So don't give up with that there. And the last thing I want to tell you all is you've all done great. Take a look at your very first project. Your very first coding project. It could be like a Hello World, it could be like a Ruby app. And then now compare that to this elephant toy store. It's a lot more complex, a lot more styled, a lot more features. So you definitely gone a long way. So I'm super stoked to see where else you can go from here. Yeah, congrats.
Thank you, Henry. We'll now hear from Will, and I'll go ahead and close this out.
Awesome. So I am Bougie, and I do have some slides. Tell me if you see a flower person.
Yep.
We see you.
Yes. So you did it. You have completed the course. It is something that honestly is not an easy thing to do because it's taking basically all of your normal nights that you have and filling it with 3 hours of learning on top of stuff you're expected to do afterwards, either after 9 o'clock or the next morning or the next afternoon or however it is. But it takes a lot of time, but you've completed through something that a lot of people wouldn't put the time and effort into, and look at the skills that have come out. But I think a lot of times when you're at this point, it's an inflection point, right? And the real question for yourselves is, what now? What are the next steps for me? And I'll give you my best suggestion on what I think the best next steps for you are. You can take it as you may, but I do think this is a good way to start off on the right foot, especially looking at what your next steps really should be after Monday. Because I believe after 11 weeks, 11 straight weeks of this, I know we had a little break, but you still had to study, you still had to code at that point in time. I would say Friday and through the weekend, celebrate your achievement. Take a break, maybe kind of step just a bit away from code and go hang out with friends and family. Go hang out with people that you may not have been able to over these last 11 weeks, whether it's spending a little extra time with family that you couldn't, or going to certain events that you weren't able to because you had to attend class. Maybe spend a little bit of time if you can and celebrate. Let them know that you've completed something. Let them know and celebrate your achievement. I think it's something that you all have worthily achieved and you should celebrate. But in the end, you're looking at, kind of seeing at, this is a slide where I was going to talk to you about, kind of seeing people that you haven't seen in a while, and they're like, who are you, since you haven't been around for the past 3 months. But once you're, through this weekend, the real thing you need to do is get back to work. You need to get back on the horse and really start programming again, whether it is continuing on with this elephant toy store project, whether it is continuing on with a project of your own, whether it is preparing yourself for the interviews that are going to lie ahead, or whether you do want to skill up a little bit more in certain avenues that you feel could help you. The real thing I think you need to do, and you really need to decide now, is to create a maintainable schedule that you can keep where you are consistently programming every single day. You put out a certain amount of time, whether you think you can afford 60 minutes of your day, 120 minutes of your day, 180 minutes of your day. The more you put in, the more you're investing into your programming future, the better it will be. But create a schedule where you go, no matter what, every day I'm going to program or I'm going to learn this much amount of time. And if you can, it's going to help you build at the same time as you're looking, because as Henry was saying, finding a job doesn't happen instantly. So while you're looking for a job, you better still be improving as well, or else you're just going to stay stagnant there. If all you're doing is looking for a job and not continuing your programming ability and continuing to learn, you'll start to regress, and it'll be harder, as Henry to say, to pick up again as you just stop doing it for a consistent amount of time. The next thing is to use what is called the Shamrock system, and it's actually really funny. I don't know if any of you ever watched wrestling. It's from Ken Shamrock. Do you know who Ken Shamrock is? He's an old wrestling dude. I don't want to show you because every time I Google him, he's in like skimpy underwear, and I'm like, oh, this is not, the old school wrestlers that are just in like the skimp. So I never want to Google him, but he has a really, really good Mark knows what I'm talking about, right? He has a really, really good concept about how you can continually improve yourself in a certain aspect, and it's called the plus minus equal theory. Plus means to learn from someone with more experience than you. And you already do have a few, I believe, mentors in the system that you're through. You have the Discord channel. You also have Henry and Jordan that know you personally, right? So they are advocates for you. I think they are great people, as well as myself and Mark. For people, if you want to put references on your resume, that's something that we can definitely be there for and we can help you with. But really have someone that you are mentoring from, whether you are continually learning from a person in your job or a person that you are learning from in a course, whatever it is, have someone in a plus, someone with more experience than you. The next thing is to have someone in a minus category, someone that you can teach someone that you can teach someone with less experience than you two. So if you have a little brother, a little sister, a sibling, a spouse, somebody you just want to teach a little bit of code to, because if you can really teach it, then you truly understand those concepts. And the more that you just kind of talk about code, and if you want to introduce a few other people to just simple concepts, the more you're solidifying those concepts yourself. Then lastly, which you already have, and you have them right, I don't want to say beside you because we're not technically beside you, but you're up and you're above and below me right now. is equals. Engage and connect with someone with the same or similar experience as you as well. Don't look at each other as competition in the job market. Look at each other as advocates and allies. Because when you all get jobs in the future and you're all mids and seniors years and years from now, one of you may look for another position and you might be like, oh, well, Ashlyn's over here. Maybe I could see like if they have any positions open over there, or the other way around. This is not just a place where you find an 11-week course. You should try to be peers and advocates for each other throughout the journey and process, because if you can, you'd be surprised at what you find years on from now, just from happenstance, right? From, well, you're all in the industry and maybe one of you are looking to move somewhere else, or maybe some of you is looking for somebody else. That is something that is a nice thing to have by just keeping in communication and engaging and connecting with people of the same experience. So if you still want to continue on with the Elephant Toy Store, that's a great idea as well, because you're all continuing and building together. Whether that's a separate thing, individual, always just be working on something. So a plus, someone to learn from; a minus, someone to teach to; and an equal, someone to engage and connect with. In the end, build something for you. That's an idea that would be great. Really be a key member of your community is a really, really big concept, especially in Utah and especially in just the programming community. You'll see like Utah Ruby users group. You'll see like a Lehigh developer users group. You'll see meetups with users groups that are talking about monthly meetings where they just go over concepts, whether it's React. There's React.js meetups. There's also Ruby meetups as well. There's the Downtown Ruby user group that is, I think, still virtual at this point in time, but there are these options for you as well. So make sure to be a key member of your community as you kind of go along. The open source community is an idea, but I honestly think as long as you're working on something, open source is a great idea. If you have something on your own, just be working on something overall. And in the very end, I just wanted to really kind of talk to you about what Henry said in terms of how many applications he went through, and how, I'll be honest with you, I'll be the first one to admit, one no, if somebody says no to me once, it stings me for like days. Like I don't like hearing that of anything at all, let alone 114 rejections. So the grit to really be thick-skinned and understand that when someone says no to you for a position, it's not that they don't like you, it's not a personal thing. It's just there was a different candidate that possibly was better than you, and you just need to work just that much harder in order to eke that other person out. That really should be the mindset, because I'm the first one to be like, oh man, if I get a few no's, I'm like, wow, my soul is crushed and I feel like terrible. But if it's somebody who I know has been qualified and is a great developer just by on work himself, took 114 applications, that just only tells you you have a ton of chances before you're, getting there. And that's the real mindset. The last thing I wanted to tell you is, if you're going through an interview and you bomb it, this is DHH. He is the founder of Ruby on Rails. He says, hello, my name is David. I would fail to write bubble sort on a whiteboard. I look up code on the internet all the time. I don't do riddles. So just understand, if you bomb one, the founder of Ruby on Rails is still bombing things as well. So it is how it's going to be. Lastly, just remember that you think that it is a linear goal. So now you're like, okay, I've graduated. Now next step is to get a job, and then this, and then this, and then this. And this is what you look at. It's a linear line to what your goals are. But the truth is, there are going to be these peaks. There are going to be these valleys. There are going to be these twists and turns. And I really think if you're talking about your journey now, you're probably somewhere in the middle here, right? You've already gone through some of these twists and turns through the course where moments you probably wanted to quit or doubted yourself. But remember that the goal is not this linear line. So if it doesn't immediately happen, that's okay. That's not the end of the world. Just keep moving forward. And if you can, keep continuing on with your goal and just making sure that you're setting aside as much time as you can to continue on your craft, as well as look for a job. Those have to be two separate things, if you know what I'm talking about. Continuing on, when I mean 180 minutes of continuing to code, it's not finding a job. That's another however many minutes you want to set aside. The other is just improving your craft. Lastly, I think this is a very, very common misconception of like what it takes to get a job in the industry, and it's not enthusiasm. You're going to be really excited after you graduate. You're going to be really excited to start looking for positions and things. Enthusiasm is common because it wears out. Henry probably got worn out at some point in time through the 100 and however many applications. What is rare in this industry and what is rare out of people in general is endurance in something hard. And so it is going to take a little bit of time, likely. It's not going to happen immediately. For some of you, it may happen faster. For some of you, it may happen slower. But remember that you have the resources available and you have the knowledge now to just continue building so that the endurance that you need to get moving on is what is rare. And if you keep going on, I promise you, I have not seen any person that has gone through the course that did not quit, not get into a position in tech. And I think that is a very good sign, not of us, but of the people who come to a course like this, the endurance that you all have. So congratulations, everyone. That is all my rant that I have, but I will turn the time over to Mark for our toast. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Will, for your fancy slides. I do not have them. Not that fancy, but as a reminder, you can find our graduating students and their projects on DevPoint Lab's YouTube channel and website. Obviously, as a special thanks to Henry and Jordan for guiding you and kind of being in the trenches as you go along in this journey of learning what you have. Thanks to our admin, to all the students, obviously. Thank you for coming and taking this journey. It's nice for me. I get to enjoy and start your application process. See where you start. Some of you came to a Code On event. That might have been your first time trying code, building out just some static web page of images and the navigation bar or whatnot, trying to learn Flexbox. And then to seeing you where you are today. It's always a cool feeling to see that. And it's honestly, and like Will said, it's not because of us here at DevPoint, it's because of you and your hard work and your dedication. And that's one of the coolest things, at least I noticed with each cohort, and especially this one, you guys are really good at working together, laughing, joking with each other, not taking things too seriously. And that really does go a long way, especially in the workforce. You're going to be paired with people that you've probably never seen before. You're going to have different interests. They might live in a different country, but if you can work together and come to building out a common goal or something, it really goes a long way. So really take that and continue being able to joke around with each other, have fun, and look out for each other. So for now, let's raise our glasses, whatever you have. For now, stay safe, stay well, and this is to you. Cheers, new Dev Pointers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Good job, Luis. Bring it together. Yeah. Well, that is it. Now go out there and apply for a job and get one. Oh, one last thing I didn't say. I'm sorry. You will be put into the alumni Slack and Discord channel. Those are very beneficial. If you ever want to reach out to someone, find a mentor, be like, hey, I'm kind of stuck in this area. What would you suggest? It's a really great community to be a part of. So really reach out to people, get advice. You can always reach out to any of the alumni we had come in. But yeah, really take advantage of that. Look out for each other, and excited to see where you go. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.